And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. Now, there's a couple people, if you've been watching any of my lives for a while, I mentioned in the past that I'm going to do in-person consignments for Collecticon Charlotte. And I was going to make a video like a month in advance. It's a little closer than a month than I was expecting to make this video, but I figured I'd just put out everything, all the rules about consignments. This is only going to be for the first half of the video. The second half of the video is just going to be a normal late night Pokemon chat. So if you're watching this real time during the live, I'm sorry. You're going to have to watch like the first part of this where I go through like all the rules about the consignment. But if you're watching this after the fact, you go down in the description below, you don't care about any of the consignment rules, then I'm going to timestamp when I actually get into the real Pokemon chat. So that's what today's about. But so I'm just going to real quick just go through the list of like the things about the consignment. So if anybody doesn't know, at Charlotte Collecticon, I'm taking in-person consignments. So if you're in person at the event, you can drop off cards at my table and I'll sell them for you. So the fee is 10% per card with a minimum of $5 fee. So all that $5 fee is prevents me from getting like a bunch of Shining Fates shiny cards that were PSA 9s, like field grading plays. That's all that prevents. When people bring cards to me, all you got to do is you bring the cards and you just provide a list. And all that list has to have on it is the card name, the grading company, the grade of that card, the price you want per card, and then the optional, like the lowest price you'll take. And if you guys are curious, all these are going to be in the description of this video, so you could just go down and look at that. And then when you provide that paper to me, I'm going to have your stack of cards, I'm going to have that sheet you provide me, and I'm going to check off that the cards you gave me are actually there. And then I'll cross off the cards I sell. And then at the end of the day, you just sign off saying, yep, PK gave me back all these cards, and I'm going to keep that as like a receipt. Number 3 is all the cards must be dropped off in person. You can't mail anything to me. I don't want to do anything with shipping. Next, all cards that you drop off must be picked up 2 hours before the end of the event on the second day. Really, I'm going to be there to the end of the event, so if you're there, it's fine. I'll keep it for the extra 2 hours, but I figured I'd just give like a baseline for when people have to pick up their cards by. You can pick up your cards at any time during the event, too. They're your cards, so and you don't have to wait till 2 hours before on the second day. They're your cards. You could come by the table. You could pick them up at any point you want. Yes, you can bring cards for consignment at any time during the event. It's not like you have to drop it off in the first hour. You could bring them to the table at any point. I don't care. Even if you find a super cheap card at one table and then you want to try to flip it in the same day at my table, like that's welcomed. This is a big one. If theft of cards occur, I will provide self-insurance, any card $1,000 or less. But like if that happens, if there's like a major theft incident, there's going to be police reports, camera reviews, contact and event staff, contact and event security, and all that may take place before the payout. For card to be stolen at an event is absolute worst case scenario. So you will get paid out to that $1,000 minimum, but there will, like I said, it'll be all the police reports. We're going to go through the whole rigmarole. There's going to be rattle videos. There's going to be PK videos. It's going to be a big thing if some cards get stolen, especially from my booth at this event. So your cards will be watched at all times too. Like I'll be at the table watching, and if I'm not there, there will be somebody, like some trusted person watching my table. Meaning I might have to take a piss during the event. Like I'm going to walk away from my table to go take a piss. But for the most part, I will be at the table almost the entire event, or somebody that I really trust will be there. You can be paid out at any time during the event if you wish. Like, just and I just wrote, like, be respectful, meaning don't, like, hover around the table if you have cards that I'm consigning for you. But, let's say you drop off a PSA 7 unlimited Charizard, value between, like, $300 to $400, and it sells. And you see that your card is gone out of my booth, and you're like, hey, I could use that $320 to go buy some other stuff at the event. Can you just pay me out for that one card real quick? Like, yes, I'll pay out real quick. It's not a big deal, but like just be respectful. Like don't hover around the table and be like, every card that sells, it's like, okay, pay me out for this card just sold. You know what I'm saying? Next, you can remove or add cards at any point. They're your cards. Like, if you want to take them, you can take them. I'm not like it. And again, it just says like, please be respectful. You know, like, if you're, don't just keep like taking cards back, handing cards back. Number 10 is no trades. I'm just not allowing trades. So I'm only going to sell your cards for the dollar amount you requested. I'm not going to trade on anybody's behalf. I would never do that because that's just not something I'm going to do. So no trades if you're consigning from me. The room in the case is first come, first serve. At the end of the event, or whenever you get paid out, you'll get paid out in cash. So United States, $100, $50, $20, tens, whatever that dollar amount's going to add up, you're going to be paid out in cash. If it's like a big purchase or something and it has to be like a PayPal or Venmo, like, we'll definitely discuss it. If you hand me some crazy high dollar amount card where I'm like, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be able to pay for this card in cash. If something like that does happen, we'll talk about it. If you want to do sealed product, I'm just going to say like a loose no. Everything has to be graded cards, by the way, too. I'm not doing anything, no raw cards. But if you want to do sealed product, you're going to have to message me. Like, it's going to have to be worth it to put in the case. Sealed product takes up room. It's just, it gets more dicey, sealed product, especially with like reseals and everything. And then the last thing is I reserve the right to refuse any cards if they're not priced towards market. So, like I just mentioned, if you sold that PSA 7 Unlimited Charizard for $325, if you give me that card and you're like, I want $1,000 for this card, I'm not going to sell a card that's just like grossly high above market value. But if you price all the cards that you want to sell them at a fair dollar amount, then I'm going to take all those cards for consignment. And then also, very important, make sure you know what you want for your card. Like, don't bring a stack of cards to my table and say, okay, PK, I want you to price out all my cards and then sell them for market value. I'm going to be like, no. Figure out a dollar amount you want, put it on that sheet of paper. I'm going to stick a sticker on it and then sell your card. And that's also something, that sticker, I'll add this, but all your cards need to be in like a team bag or, like cardboard gold PSA bag, because I am going to put stickers on all the slabs with the dollar amount. So you don't want that sticker going right on the plastic. You definitely want it going on like the team bag that your graded cards in. But yeah, that's it. I try to like push through that real fast, and I'm going to probably refer to this video in other lives. Like, if anybody wants to consign cards, I'm just going to send them to this video. But now I want to just do like the normal Pokemon chat. And I'm going to write this down. The normal Pokemon chat starts at the 8-minute mark of this video, so I'll put that in the comment. Sorry for anybody who stuck through. I guess the consignment stuff is a little bit more boring. But, so some Pokemon chat, there's been some crazy events that have happened. Like, recently, Cool Train Orion, Pokerev opened up those tins where all those Silver Tempest packs were just stacked with, like these are better. And then not only did they open a box, but then it also looked like Danny Phantom also had a case. He opened up a case. I want to say Dan Catch'Em-All Collectible says he might have some cases. I think he's going to start looking through his. But that is the weirdest batching thing that I've ever heard happen. Like, I know there was those Fusion Strike boxes that were out of distribution out of Canada, which had like, they were like Fusion Strike God boxes, which was a real weird thing. But what we're seeing happen with these Silver Tempest packs, I don't even know how to really explain it. I don't know how, like, you can have a batching issue so bad that it would only go into that one product. My guess, and this is not an educated guess, this is just a pull out my ass type guess. The only reason I can think that those cards could potentially go into those tins is if it was like a reprint of Silver Tempest just for those tins. Like, it was a print to order for the tins. So they printed a batch of Paldea Evolved just for those tins. And then they also printed a separate batch of Silver Tempest. And it wasn't just like they were taking these packs from another print wave. And then they were taking those Silver Tempest packs print to order. And somehow, some way, like, whatever calculation those machines use to automatically sort in hits, the calculation, maybe somebody like accidentally moved over a decimal point or something. So seed rates ended up just being way higher than they ever should be, because it does appear that it doesn't matter the code card color too. Like, all code cards just got hits. It has to be like a seeding issue through the computer program that just because these packs are being seeded at a rapid firing rate. Like, those magazines, they're like magazines, those cards are, and Rattle showed them on video. Like, those cards are flying through packs so fast. It must just be a computer error, like a seeding issue. And maybe that product, like I said, was print to demand. Like, it was, that wave of Silver Tempest was just printed for that one product, which I didn't know that's how Pokemon does it. But I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. But my God, you talk about God packs. So I don't want to spoil Ryan's video, but Ryan's happy hour chat tonight, he pulled another alternative art Lugia on Thursday night, or the night before, whenever he opened up those 36 Silver Tempest God packs. He pulled 3 alt art Lugias in that opening. So in the last 2 days, Cool Trainer Ryan has pulled 4 Lugia alt arts, and that's ignoring every other freaking card he pulled. Absolutely ridiculous pull rates. And then even Danny Phantom, when he opened up his case, his first tin he opened, it had the unknown alt art in there from Silver Tempest. It's like crazy. And it's weird how they're seated. Like, it's V's, and it seems like a ton of like the Radiant cards were in there. All the I don't know if there were any rainbow cards in there. I can't remember if any rainbow cards were pulled. I know a lot of full art trainers were pulled. I know a lot of V stars were pulled. I know a lot of V's were pulled, but I don't remember if there were any rainbow cards being pulled. I'm sure somebody in the chat could let me know if there was any rainbow cards, but I don't remember any. Maybe there. Oh, actually, there might have been. There might have been. Either way, God packs. The thing is it does appear to maybe just be like a small batching issue. It does even appear that all those tins have them, but that'll be one of those weird products that it like doesn't make sense to keep those things sealed. Because what is that thing worth sealed? $25. But I mean, the chances of it's just at that point, that is a product that you have to open in a way. Like, you can't just have that sitting sealed, because you'll never know. Will there be a premium on those tins in the future? I don't know. People's memories in this hobby are very short. People might not even remember those tins exist, or they'll just assume that all tins that exist on the secondary market are guaranteed to not be those God Pack tins, meaning, because at this point, if anybody has a case of those tins sitting at home, you have to open one. You gotta open one tin and look and say, do I have a case of God tins? So if any of those tins sell in the future, you just have to assume that those have already came out of a case, and then that case has been, already looked at, and somebody already opened at least one of the tins and decided if those were God tins or not. Like, it's going to be interested in the future for something like that. But it's the same thing with even Fusion Strike. Obviously, those Fusion Strike booster boxes existed, and they came out of a Canadian distribution, but there's no way to tell. You're probably sitting on a couple Fusion Strike booster boxes right now in your current possession. You don't know if one of those is like a God box or not, and you're just going to assume that it's not. And I think that maybe in the future, that's how these tins will play out, that anything that is available on the market in the distant future will just be assumed to not be like a God tin, when in fact, maybe some of them will be God tins. But I don't know. Fascinating stuff. It's one of the crazier batching issues I've ever seen. But let's see. The next one is PSA Pizza Tracker. If any guys have been watching your PSA Pizza Trackers, so I finally, first of all, I mentioned this on Other Live. I got Charlotte CollectorCon coming up in mid-September. I don't really have a lot of PSA submissions that were built with Charlotte in mind, but I have to get my current I have 5 PSA submissions right now that are on that borderline that maybe it makes it back to me, maybe it doesn't. But right now, one of my submissions, it was in the grading phase. Once it hit assembly, it only was in assembly for 1 day, and it's already in QA1 at this point. If you guys know what PSA is, so there's 8 stages. Stage 4 is grading. Stage 5 is assembly. Stage 6 is that QA1, and usually QA1, QA2, and then shipping, those all go pretty quick. But for assembly, it'll only take a day. I'd probably get at least this one submission back. But the one submission that is currently in QA1 is 21 cards, and like half those cards are like PC cards or like personal collection plays I'm doing, trying to get 10s or trying to like fill in holes in my collection. So I'm not even selling those. It's only a 21 card submission. I need to get through that one. I need to get through my next submission, which is 35. And then my third submission is 70 cards. And that 70 card submission is the one I need for Collecticon, because that's going to have like the most liquid of all my submissions. But it's far away, man. I'm getting nervous. But yeah, if you guys were following that PSA pizza tracker, yeah, for assembly, it only took 1 day for me. And I'm hoping PSA figures out what's going on. But I see Basic Trainer in the chat. Basic Trainer, don't worry. There will be a spot in my case, the center of the case, in the center of the table, for Ponychill. And if anybody out there wants Ponychill, there will be a hefty price tag on it, but you know where you could come find it. And then I guess the next like Pokemon chat thing I want to talk about is the Pokemon Center ETBs, the Paradox Rift. Don't know what's in Paradox Rift yet. Don't really know what the set composition is like. I don't even know what the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs promos are going to be. But this is like one of the very first Pokemon Center ETBs that I kind of just sat back and I said, I think I'm going to sit this one out. Maybe I'll get like onesie twosie of each Elite Trainer box artwork just for my personal collection. But I'm not buying cases of this because I opened up my case of Paldea Evolved. I opened up my case of Obsidian Flames just to do like the Pokemon Center promo play. Butchered. All of them. I mean, again, these are very small sample sizes, but it was still for the first, for Paldea Evolved, 4 ETBs, that works out to like $230+. For Obsidian Flame, another $230+, not counting the packs, just counting the promos. Paldea Evolved, real chewed up. Obsidian Flames, I'm sending 7 of the 8, but 10s are going to be a stretch at this point. It looks like 10s for those Pokemon Center Elite Trainer promos are going to be tough to come by, and I'm pretty bummed out by it. And this is one of them that I didn't send. This is the Pokemon Stamp one, but it just has this whole edge. Some of these promos are coming out so bad that it's almost as if somebody pulled it out of a binder, like a childhood binder. Some of these are so bad. There's whitening, there's corner edges, which sucks because this card, I mean, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but it's got beautiful centering. Centering all day is a 10. 2 of the 4 corners are perfect, but one of those edges is just freaking trash. It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, I like this promo too, with the Charmander with that angry face looking at all the Pidgeys. But yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious how those promos are going to play out. The Pokemon Center stamp ones in particular, like the regular ETB promos. I'm still sending them, but I'm not speculating on them as hard as the Pokemon Center ones, because the way I figure it is, if you could hit a Pokemon Center one in a 10, that could be a $70 card. $70 card pays for that ETB. So you got, what is a Pokemon Center ETB, like $50, $15 to grade it. You're more or less break even for that ETB. And then that second promo, the non-stamped one, you grade it. If it gets a 10, that's just gravy on top. And then obviously you're still going to get the packs in the ETB. So I was like, this can be a play. It's not a play. And then, yeah, just Obsidian Flames, I did open a decent amount because at Collecticon, I'm going to sell PK resale packs. So that's going to be fun. Just want to see how everyone handles that. So they're going to be real packs that I've resealed. Everybody who buys these packs will know they are resealed. And then I pulled out the hit and I replaced it with like a good hit. So it's a novelty thing. That's all it is. It's a novelty thing. Please don't go and try to buy all my resale packs. Like it's made to be fun. You're not going to make money, but I want you, if you want to see what like a good resale looks like, you could take the pack in your hand, you could examine it, you could look at it, you can see if you think you could see how it was tampered, how did I do it, and then when you open it, you're going to have fun because the hit has been replaced with some sort of like good card. Like I put, like some of the cards I put in there were, there's some like first edition commons, base set first edition commons I put in it for one. These are not PSA 10 contenders. Like one of those I put in, I think like the worst possible hit you can get. The absolute worst hit is a ball guy, and I put the ball guy in as a meme. So that is the absolute like bottom of the barrel. There's like, I put like some Salamence level X's in there. I put a bunch of like Fire Red Leaf Green cards in there. I think there's like a beat up Charizard from Legendary Treasures in there as like the hits. So like all the hits are okay, but they're beat up. They're not PSA contenders. They're all, trust me, they're not worth it to be sent. I think the only card that's worth it is maybe like a Pidgeot non-holo rare from Jungle. I think that was the only card that I looked at. I was like, somebody could grade this and maybe get like a 9 or 10 if they're lucky. But yeah. But that's it. Those are the topics I wanted to touch tonight. At least those were the big topics, because there's a lot of little things going on in the hobby right now, and it's always fun. I like it when there's always some sort of news event going on. And shout out to Rattle Pokemon again. I know I talked about him in my last couple of videos, but Rattle's putting out some good content lately. He's really like keeping me entertained with that daily content. The Blake's Break stuff, I'm waiting for it to get to 69 videos. But and then tomorrow night is Saturday. Saturday is going to be the happy hour chat in the Rattle Discord. If you guys haven't joined that yet, join it. It was funny, like I guess Rattle put it in one of his videos in the happy hour chat. Like people were just joking about whatever resales or whatever, and somebody like clipped a 1-minute conversation in a 6-hour happy hour chat, and then like made a video trying to like expose Rattle and his friends and like all this scamming they're trying to do. And it's just like, oh my god, if that's what people out there think it's going to take down Rattle, is like people joking in his fucking happy hour chat, people have another thing coming to him. I couldn't even find the video. I saw the clip from Rattle's video that he had. It was like a minute and 11 seconds long. It's just, people out there are stretching. But no, usually a happy hour chat's fun. It's always, if you guys want to open packs, you don't want to pay other people to open your packs, you could open your own packs, and we'll all cheer you on while you open your own packs. It's a lot of fun. But we got Brothers Brock, first one to join the chat. Appreciate it, man. Chris Texas, Mick Nick, Mick Sizzle, Oreo Cakesters, Mapather, Fresh Taz, Shug Nasty, Leaf Green Goblin. Good to see you, Leaf Green Goblin. Brown CLM. Hope the family is well. The family is well. Yeah, it's crazy like how fast kids grow. My first son is a little over 2 now. My second is already over 2 months old. Like, time goes by fast, man. The Gengar Master says, PK, how long have you been live? I've been live for 23 minutes. Growing Reality, good to see you. Yeah, Grooves Collect says, super generous of you to do consignment. Hope it runs smoothly. I hope so too. I mean, I hope it's something that I can do in the future. I am still making money on it, but if anybody out there is watching this and thinks that like, oh, PK is just making a ton of money, I'm going to give you some of the factual numbers. For 2 tables and 4 cases, because you could fit 2 cases per table, it's $250 per table. It's $40 per case. So that's 4 cases. It's $660 to have 2 tables with the cases. $660. In a perfect world, in a vacuum where I'm only selling consignment cards and I'm not selling any of my cards, I need to sell $6,600 worth of other people's cards for consignment, and I get to break even. That means if I sell $6,600 worth of other people's cards, I make a whopping $0 for the consignment service. So it's not like this big money grab if that's what people are out there thinking. It's not. I'm going to be there for 5 days. Now, 5 days, that's on me because we're going to be doing some fun stuff on Friday, then obviously Saturday, Sunday, and then we're not going to fly or drive out till Monday. So those 5 days in the hotel, that's on me, like that. But still, it's like another $1,000 for hotel rooms. So that's $1,660 just to have tables and a hotel room. Like, this consignment isn't my grand scheme of making money. Like, to pay just my hotel rooms, I have to sell $6,600 to pay for the tables. Then, if I want to also potentially pay for my hotels to make the trip quote unquote free, that would be another $10,000 on top of that. So we're talking $10,660 I would have to, in theory, consign worth of cards to make a whopping $0. There's a lot of $0 going on here. So if people think that I'm doing this as like this huge money grab, I promise you the numbers don't really work out in my favor. Where the numbers will work out in my favor is when I'm consigning my own cards, where my return isn't 10% per card, where my return on most cards, like when you're grading your own cards, I would say at a minimum you kind of want to shoot for like 100% return, meaning after cost of card, after cost of grading, you really want to shoot for like 100% return. Sometimes it's even higher than that, 100, 200. If it's a really high dollar amount card, usually you can't get to that 100% like profit margin, but you can be at like 40. It gets tough, but trust me, it's not this grand scheme. It's not PK built this channel for 3 years in order to break even spending, at Collecticon. Class A12 says this type of consignment makes sense. I don't understand consigning things for eBay auction. I see people consigning high value, low supply liquid stuff to probe steam and get wrecked at auction. Yeah, no. This is, you tell me how much you want to sell the card for. You drop it off in person. You pick it up at the end of the event. If it sells, I give you cash right then and there. If you want to take your card back at any point during the event, you're welcome to. It's not. And plus, if you give me your card, it sells in the middle of the event, and you're walking around the floor and you're like, PK just sold a $320 PSA 7 Unlimited Charizard. I'm going to go ask him for the money, and I will give you $300 on the spot, and then you could go use that $300 and walk around the floor and spend it. It's your money. None of this is mine. These cards are yours. You could take them back whenever you want. The money is yours. You could take that money at any time. Like I said, just be respectful. Don't be like hovering around the table like a hummingbird just waiting for your card to sell. Like, try not to do that. And that's just like a respect kind of thing. Let's see. Danny said mystery tints nobody will forget. Yeah, these will. So he's talking about those crazy Silver Tempest mystery tin things. Yeah, those will hit. Basic Trainer said he's charging $5 for Pony Chew selfies. Basic Trainer, I don't think I've never seen. Have I? Did you have Basic Trainer? Did you have Pony Chew with you in Denver? Because I don't know if I ever saw it in person. So I definitely need a photo with Pony Chew. And I want the record to show when Basic Trainer hands me over that card at Charlotte Collecticon and it's in my possession to vend. I want the record to show that I was in possession of the Pony Chew at one point in the line and the history of that card. And let the record show that at one point it was just mine. Yes, I was consigning it, but I was responsible for that card. I was in possession of the Pony Chew, and that's all that matters. But let the record show. Because in 10, 15, 20 years from now, when people are still talking about that card and they go back through the history and the lore of that card and they go back to the origins, I will make sure my name is brought up. Sorry, I'm a little ridiculous, but I want let the record show I was in control of that Ponychu. It's the same way as like some of these illustrated Pikachus. You could go back, you look at all the history, you know, bunch of them were, some of them were PSA 9s, photos taken in pizza boxes. Eventually they were regraded multiple times till eventually it hit a 10, made its way into Dubsy Collection, then made its way to Logan Paul for a whopping sum of greater than $5 million. Yeah, even a card like that has a history. Some people will care. Not everyone. Let's see. Science Guy 87 said, I ripped my case of Obsidian Flames for the promos and pulled 3 gold Zards. Sold them all immediately and covered most of my costs. Lucky as he's been in a while. Wow. In one case of Obsidian Flames ETBs, you pulled 3 gold Zards. That is wild. Congrats. I opened up my Obsidian Flames ETB and I didn't pull a single gold Zard. I already sent away my PSA submission, so I can't even show you like the cards I did pull. Grown Reality says, Rattle has been on fire with the content. Blake's Breaks is the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, it's a weird gift that keeps giving because it's just so much stuff keeps rolling out. And man, that Snee person, whoever that girl is, the more I see what she was doing, I mean, people went through a lot of data, but now that they have on multiple videos, her taking off packs and the artwork's changing. So, like, here's an example. She would, like, have this card on screen, and then she would come back, and this pack would be on screen. They're not the same artworks, you know? But she was doing it so fast, and, I mean, you do shit like that enough. Like, you're gonna not get caught. Man, probably 99.999% of the time. And it's only going to take like 1 or 2 times to mess up till you finally get caught. But the fact that people have rifled through so many of Snee's videos and they've only been able to find like 2 instances where she messed up, it shows you how good she was at doing that. Because if you remove those 2 times where she swapped packs off screen, came back onto screen with a different artwork, if you remove those 2 mess ups that she did, she never did anything wrong. Like, I know I've already said this, but I want you to really consider that. If Snee never fucked up on that stream and took that pack, like the very first one that brought all this to life, if she didn't make that one mistake and swap out packs, none of this happens. Blake's Breaks is still business as usual. None of this happens if Snee doesn't make that one single mistake. And then obviously now, because that mistake happened, you know, it opens up those floodgates and then all this issues happen. But like, just keep that in mind. It only took one mess up for her to take that whole house down. And that's what happens when you build a platform on a house of cards. And that's what like scammy whatnot breaker kind of shit is. You're building a house of cards. Literally, I know this is cards. It's Pokemon cards. So it's a great analogy. But you build that house of cards. It just takes... And that house of cards, what is it? It's shaky. It has very little foundation. It's built off of hopes and prayers at that point. And when you pull that one card away from the base, you know, it is the ultimate house of cards come crashing down on you. And it took... Thank God she made that mistake. Like, everybody out there should be happy that she finally messed up, because watching these videos, and I promise you, a good whatnot scammer will never get caught. Mark my words, you hear me again. A good whatnot scammer will never get caught. And I know that is not what people like to hear, but that is the truth. So, good thing she messed up. So, let's see. Let's see. Derek Lavender, good to see you in the chat. The Gengar Master, good to see you, man. So Rob Hayes says it's definitely crazy. Got one on the way, and his oldest is almost 2. So, Robert Hayes, your timeline was the same as mine. Like me and my wife had pretty much 2 and 2, so 2 within 2 years, and I am done. Oh, to quote Michael Scott, snip snap, snip snap. I am done. No more kids for me. Yeah. So Pokey Snipes is saying, well, that guy randomly showed up and recorded as much as he could before he got booted. Blasty said bye bye. Yeah. So the guy that came into the Rattle Happy Hour chat. It's going to take a lot to cancel people. I don't think the Happy Hour chat's going to be enough to cancel people. Tom B says, got to look at it as a vacation, seeing friends too. Oh, I'm definitely looking at Collecticon as kind of like a mini vacation, but I can't think of it too much as a mini vacation because, as I mentioned, I do have a wife and 2 kids at home and a baby, so I do have to sort of kind of make it worth it for me. But honestly, what I'm looking forward to most for Charlotte Collecticon for myself is I have a lot of field grading plays. Everyone has field grading plays. You know, you send a card away, you got super unlucky, it hit a 8, or, you know, depending on the card, you hit the 9, and that card is worth, call it $25 or 25 or so, between $20 and $25 sold. So yeah, $20 card, $25 card, you might actually still make money on some cards if you could sell them for 25. But when you factor in eBay fees, when you factor in shipping, then you're probably going to lose on that card if you got to sell it for 25 bucks. But if you can do a $25 in-person cash transaction, you don't lose on that card anymore. So every single field grading play that I've ever had in my life, I'm going to have a $20 box and I'm going to have a $25 box and let people go through them. And we shit on Whatnot a lot, but hopefully those Whatnot guys come and buy me out. But I already talked to like some other people in this hobby that I know are big sellers. And I said, listen, I told some of them, I said, I'll give you first, like, go for some of these boxes. These 20, because some of my $20 and $25 boxes are like, okay, I'm trying to think of like, so here's like a pile of like, these are like failed plays. So these are 2 Japanese SV001 PSA 9s. Not worth selling. For Scarlet and Violet 001 promos, I only sell 10s. Like, the chances of getting 9s on cards like this are so low. So this is like 2 9s out of, I don't know, like, fuck if I know, 50 plus. So like 2 9s out of 50. Like, here are 3 9s for the Crown Zenith Mew. So I've been selling these Crown Zenith Mews in a PSA 10 for 75 bucks, I think. PSA 9, not probably 25 bucks. I'm not selling these 3 9s for 25 bucks. This will be a card that I sell, which is crazy that this is a modern card. My PSA 10 sell for 75 bucks, but I can't sell a 9 for 25, so not going to do it. And then, let's see. This is my 9 pile. And then, here you go. Like, a Old Maid top player hit a 9. Getting 9s for Old Maid cards are damn near impossible. But I somehow managed to get my first 9. So, like, that will be a card that will go in the $20 box. Because that card, if I can make $20 cash for an Old Maid card, your cost per card's $1, $15 to grade it. You're not even going to break even. You're going to actually make a little bit of money. So that's what I'm looking forward to at Charlotte, is moving all that stuff. Anything that is low dollar, because, shout out to Dan Catch'em Collectibles. If you want to make money in this hobby, grade 10s. There's no secret recipe. Grade 10s. But eventually, you will eventually get the crappy 9 that somehow sneaks through. You're not really sure why it happens. But this card will come. This is a PC card. This card's not for sale. This is my PSA 4 VGEX Lost Origins Pikachu, and this will be in the case. And when you guys come up, I'm gonna have a little like sticky note on it, and it's gonna say guess that grade. And I want to see what people grade this as. I use it as a coaster. It always sits next to me. But this is a PC card. It's not for sale. Not selling it. This is mine. But like even shit like that eventually will happen. You grade enough cards, you will get the 4 that it's a $15 coaster at this point, and I love it and I use it all the time. And it's funny. Like you could have that card, multiple of them in a 10, but you get one in a 4 and it becomes part of your PC. It's nice if you could. I'll tell you what, if you're collecting like habits, are enjoying modern trainer gallery PSA 4s, if that's what makes you happy, you've done this hobby correct, and you could pretty much complete this entire hobby if you get excited about PSA 4s. That's a different type of 4, but yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Growing Reality says, awareness may be enough to stop a crime. I am no advocate for cancel culture. That equates to censoring dissent without debate. That is a very elegant sentence you wrote, Growing Reality. Let me read that again. Awareness may be enough to stop a crime. I'm no advocate for cancel culture. That equates to censoring dissent without debate. I like that. But to kind of play off that a little bit, I talked about the consignments that I'm doing at Collecticon earlier, but there's a small part of me that I don't wish this, but there's part of me that knows if somebody tries to steal from my table, the amount of I will force Rattle to make a video. He won't even have a choice. But I would be like, Rattle, we're gonna figure out this. We're gonna go through all the camera evidence, police reports, staff security. Whoever steals from my booth will have videos made about them. I will make it my goal in life to drag that person's name through the absolute gutters of this hobby. Like, with the most absolute filth of this hobby, I will take that person down with every breath. And I will bring them up from now until eternity. I'll do everything I can to make sure that that person can never sell another card in this hobby. And especially there will be some points during the event where I already told Rattle, like, he's going to be walking around Charlotte doing Rattle things, but anytime Rattle gets tired, like, there's always a seat behind my booth for him. So there will probably be like a decent amount, maybe not so much on Saturday, but definitely on Sunday, where Rattle will be sitting behind my table. So if any cards start disappearing from my booths, like, I can tell you right now, it would be a really shitty situation for me because I'd be writing checks for people, but the content that would come out of it would be golden. Let's see. Dr. Gengar says, we put more into things we love regardless of returns. Have fun, that's what matters. That's a lot of what this hobby is, you know? And I think sometimes I do talk about like the investing aspect and stuff like this, but make no mistake. Like I this is one thing I do hammer down the point a lot about. If you don't love this hobby, if you don't truly love this hobby, one, I don't think you're probably going to be watching these videos, so I'm not really talking to that person. But if you don't really love this hobby and you're this deep, you're probably doing something wrong. But I think anybody who gets this deep really loves this hobby. And I think that's what just separates people, you know, is how much do you really, really love this hobby? And I know from the people I talk to, they love this hobby. And they might not love every aspect about the hobby, and maybe their focus is definitely on other parts, but I mean, you gotta love it. You gotta love the people in this hobby too. Can't say the C word, the community word. I said it. Damn. Can we make up a new name for community? I don't want to say can't say the C word, because there's definitely a much worse C word out there than community, and I think you know what that bad C word is. I don't know. We got to figure out a new word for community. Group? People? ZNG Emporium said, can I send in modern 3-card boosters to be graded and consigned in Charlotte? All right, listen. So everybody out there, you got Jim from ZNG Emporium is trolling. Jim, this is what's going on. I'm going to let everybody out there know my play. Listen. I opened up my Obsidian Flames ATBs. I pulled out my personal graded or my personal pack set. I want to show you, James. These are the cards. These are the packs I put aside. So look at them. They're all the same pack artwork, isn't it? What is it? It's a Charizard. You know why? People love Charizards. But you want to know even more why, James? Because you're going to get those graded card packs. You're going to get those graded packs back in hopefully like the next month or two, because they're already in stage 5, which I hope the assembly doesn't take too long for graded packs, but I don't know. Like, that's way out of my comfort zone. Either way, hopefully we get those back soon. There's going to be some 10s. There's going to be some 9s. There's going to be a couple 8s. But listen, there's actually going to be a decent amount of 10s. And those packs are going to sell for such a premium that you're going to go, holy shit, I cannot believe that PK actually pulled this off. But I'm gonna pull it off. We're gonna pull it off, James. It's me and you right now. I'm talking to you, James. We're gonna pull it off, and then you're gonna be like, I can't believe this actually worked. And then I'll talk about it. You'll talk about it. But this is what I want. I don't want you to pay me a single penny. I don't want you to pay me out, because you know what? We're gonna run it back, James. You know, I'm just gonna you're gonna keep all the money that you're gonna pay me. You're gonna keep it, because you just apply it to the next set of grading fees, because we're just gonna keep it rolling, James. This is just part of it. This is still modern packs, but don't worry. I've already figured out what I did wrong. There's definitely, I know a little bit more of like the more, I'm not gonna call them vintage, but the other packs I should have sent more of. Where for this first go around, I did a huge spectrum, like big case study. And I think I know the errors I've already made. Like, I know the sets I shouldn't have sent. I know the arts I shouldn't have set. I've had a lot of time to sit back, James, and ponder this. And I know where the weaknesses are, and I know where the strengths are, and I know where I failed. But we're going to make money, and you're going to be like, I can't believe it. And it's going to be one of those things that there are things in this hobby that happen that people talk about forever, and things that people keep referring to. And people will refer to this play from now until forever, because nobody will ever have the balls to grade $4,000 worth of modern packs. But me and you, James, we had those balls, because we did. You had the balls. I commend you on that, but it's going to work out. Don't worry. I got you, James. We got this. We got this. You know what's going to pay off? You have like 8 freaking Brilliant Stars packs with Charizard artworks. Guess what? Those 8 Brilliant Stars Charizard artworks, 4 of them's going to come back 10s. 4 of them's going to come back 10s. All those are paid for. We're just going to keep working away. We're going to knock them all down until eventually you're going to be like, God damn it, can't believe this worked. And then we're going to get a couple big hitters. That Heart Gold Soul Silver Triumphant pack, it's going to hit a 9, it's going to hit a 10. One of those Plasma Blast packs is going to hit a 9 or a 10. Oh, we're just going to make money. We're just going to chip away. We're going to do it. It's going to be a long road. Jane said, you're either delusional or genius. Probably delusional. What's a definition? It's like a fine line between, what is it? Fine line between genius and maybe psychotic? Maybe psychotic's a better word. But don't worry, James. We got this. I believe in this play. I'm pretty sure my voice just cracked right there when I said believe. So maybe I don't believe in it that much. But I believe. We got this. Mick says, PK manifesting a better tomorrow. Yes. Sometimes you just have to believe. You got to wake up every day, just be a little bit better than the last. And the beautiful thing about this play is it happened so long ago that every day I try to wake up, be a little bit better, be a little bit better. So this play is this is the culmination of being a little bit better every day. We'll see. Giovanni's Pikachu says, sounds like a dream. Maybe a dream. Technically, a nightmare is also a dream, Giovanni's Pikachu, so it could also be a nightmare. But, no, it's funny that, if you guys don't know, Z&G has another channel called Z's Flips. Channel, like, came around right when he was still kind of making content. He segued out of his normal Z&G channel and then did Z's Flips, where the channel just pretty much was built out of him selling stuff from around his home on eBay. Just like, hey, you can make money by selling random shit around your house that you don't need anymore, and you could build a couple bucks here and there. And then after Graded Gem popped off, after a consignment service popped off, that channel just went the way of the dodo. Like, it was dead. No content for 2+ years. And then all of a sudden, just one day on my feed, Z's Flips has a new video. And it was pretty funny because on James's first video, he's like, well, let's see where I am from my last video I posted to today. He's like, on my last video, he had the like screenshot of how many sales he did for the month. So he goes, so my screenshot from when this channel ended was for the month of July. I think it was like 2021 or 2020. He sold $3,300 worth of items on eBay. 3,300. He goes, let's fast forward to last month. He sold something like $442,000, or maybe it was like maybe it's the last 90 days, not the last month. But either way, he went from $3,300 in the last 90 days to $442,000 in the last 90 days. So he's like, where's my channel been? He's like, well, doing big things. So congrats, James. You did a lot of big things in a relatively short amount of time. So I'm very proud of what you've built. And I think it was so I'm actually very, very happy that I did see, just the same way as I had the hindsight to know the grade packs. When James made his very, very like first video talking about doing the consignment, James, you can go back, you can look at the email, but I think it was the first time I ever reached out to James about like when he announced a consignment. I was like, hey man, I know you're going to do really well, because he was filling the void that PWCC left. And I don't know if it would be tough to go back, but I definitely messaged him really, really early on. Let me see if I could find it. But I sent him one because I knew, like, there's just, you know how you just know when a service is going to pop off? Let's see. There's definitely been times where I've tried to push the envelopes on what I could send to James too. I'm getting a lot of those emails. But okay. Okay, I'm going to read the email that I sent James from Z&G Emporium. I sent this to him on September 27th, 2021. So August, September. So next month will make 2 years that I sent this message. I said, hi James, want to say what you're doing has the ability to potentially blow up, especially with PWCC out of the picture. I sell my cards on my own or send the PWCC. But with that said, I would love to send a few cards or so to your auctions to show my support. Also, if I wrote a small letter, maybe a paragraph or two, could you read it on your auction video and I could get a shout out? That would be awesome. In return, I could also mention your auctions in one of my videos as well. Just let me know the info, addressing, pricing, etc. Yeah. So that was what I sent to James on September 27th, 2021, because I had a feeling that it was going to blow up, and it did. And that was all. I mean, that's all those guys. That's all their work. But if you're living in the moment, you know when a good thing pops up or something that's going to be really big. And that ended up being something huge. And a lot of it right place at the right time? Sure. Like, does it help that PWCC got kicked off of eBay? Hell yeah, it did. Does it help that in August of 2021 was PWCC's first auction, and those very, very first cards that went to auction got absolutely butchered? Listen, I know. I had $81. I had 81 cards in that very first August PWCC auction, and I got absolutely butchered on them. And the worst part was because by August 2021, the only thing I was selling was CGC cards, and all the CGC cards I sent already got beat up with low grades, and then tried to liquidate them on PWCC. They ended up sitting around while they got booted off eBay until they were able to like build up the PWCC auction platform. In that very first auction, I got taken out back, and it wasn't pretty. It was ugly, but yeah. So it definitely helps when you could fill a niche. Let's see. We got PokemonGifts.com. Good to see you in the chat. John Paoline says, I built a Lego house. Are you proud of me too? Of course I'm proud of you. And I swear to God, if your Lego house doesn't have a freaking chimney on it, I'm not proud of you. Isn't it weird? You got to build houses with chimneys? Like, how do you not build a house with chimney? Even people who live down in Texas, I don't care if you live in San Antonio, Texas, or you live in Miami, Florida, where the temperature never gets below 80 degrees. If you don't build a house, if you don't draw a house with a chimney, with smoke coming out the smokestack, because then you don't know how to make a house. Isn't that funny to think of? That even if you live in San Antonio, Texas, you're still building houses with a chimney with smoke coming out. And there's probably no houses in San Antonio running fireplaces. But that's just how you make a house. Just the way your Lego house better have a chimney on it. I'm coming after you, John. But anyways, I did it. 56 minutes. It's a decent live. I'm not going to try to do 30-minute lives anymore. I tried to at one point. I think that's behind me. 30-minute lives. No longer a thing I want to do. Pokey Snipe says, kids these days build HVACs. Aaron says he lives in San Antonio. Yeah, well, shout out to San Antonio. Shout out to the Alamo. Remember the Alamo, guys. So Ferd says, I will visit USA in September. I'm from Brazil. Should I bring some Portuguese alt-arts to sell in the US? Of course you should, man. I don't know how the Portuguese market is here in the States, but try it out. But, yeah, guys, listen. Appreciate every one of you. 57 minutes. Fun. I know the beginning of this video was rough. If you guys made it through, I know I had to just do, like, the logistics of consignment, and I know that's, like, probably not a fun thing to do. But, yeah, if you want to consign your cards in Charlotte, you can shoot me a message. Let me know. I know a lot of people already have. If you don't send me a message, it's fine. I don't care. Just make sure you have a list of your cards when you bring them to me in person. But, yeah, shout out to number one mod in the game. I think he's busy tonight. I don't see him in the chat, but Drew, if you're out there watching this after the fact, you're watching the replay, know you were missed. Know everyone in this chat, we appreciate you. And, yeah, to everyone out there, as always, I'll catch you on the next video.